All right, everybody, welcome to this evening's ACY Securities webinar. My name is Duncan Cooper. So tonight is Live Forex Market Review. And before we get into it, if you can read through the disclaimer, any questions to the question box or the chat box, got both open. If you're on our YouTube live stream, I cannot see the chat, so I can't answer your questions, but you're more than welcome to come into the webinar room. I've given you the link there to register yourself and come in. All right, so just read through the risk disclaimer before we move along. All right, let's move along. So if you don't know me, my name is Duncan Cooper. I'm a senior market strategist and trading mentor here at ACY Securities. And I'm a full-time trader. I've been trading the market now the Forex market now for more than 15 years. Been mentoring clients for more than 10. If you want to contact me, my email is on screen, duncan.cooper@acy.com. Just send me an email. If you want to follow me through the week at our website, acy.com market news tab, you'll find my analysis, or our YouTube channel, ACY Securities Australia. You'll find my analysis videos there. You can connect with me as well on Twitter and LinkedIn, and through the week in our Telegram channel. You can also connect with my analysis. If you don't have access to that, just contact Nathan. We're giving free access to people at the moment. So if you've got friends, family that are interested in trading, just, get them along as well with the webinars. The webinars are free. So if you know anybody that's interested in learning how to trade, just simply send them along to the webinars. All right, so if you want to get access to the Telegram, contact Nathan Bray at acy.com. I'll put his details in the chat momentarily. As well, if you want to get access to my MT4 layout with my chart templates and indicators, just contact Nathan. He will organize that for you. So I'll put his details in the chat. As well, if you've got any questions about the live account or opening an account, then he's the guy to talk to as well. He will help you out with any query you might have. All right, so that's in the chat. All right, so let's have a look at the news. Now, the market is a little bit flat at the moment. We do have tomorrow coming out. There's not much news at the moment, but we do have the US core PPI data coming out tomorrow at 11:30 p.m. Queensland time. So tomorrow evening, if you're in New South Wales, that's 12:30 in the morning Saturday. And we have the US prelim UOM consumer sentiment coming out 1 o'clock in the morning Saturday morning. So the market might be a bit flat before we get to news to drive the market. You never know, things might pick up as we head into the New York session, but you never know. We may stay still a little bit flat. All right, so just bear in mind what is coming out tomorrow evening. All right, so let's get to the charts now. Not a lot has changed this week. I'm just going to start with let's go to the dollar index first. Not much is changing from Tuesday's analysis. We are still holding above this monthly double top that we broke above. And we're still positive for the week. We're false breaking this weekly support level here, 104.57. And the daily, it is trying to hold above this support here that was at 105.29. The trend is still down on the daily, still lower tops and bottoms, so there's still a chance we may move further down. Has support come in ahead of that monthly level of support? So we had 2 positive days, negative day yesterday. In fact, we had a bit of an up day and a down day yesterday. So what will the day bring? Where will we be by the end of the week? So, it's not necessarily important that you trade every day or you trade even every week. You need a clear process and a clear directional bias. And at the moment, the dollar index there, be trading pairs to the US dollar or a pair with US dollar to another currency. You need to understand what the clear direction is. And we're just a little bit are we holding ahead of monthly support? So are we holding above monthly support here to start to move back up the range? That is the big question at the moment. All right, with the S&P 500, we are maybe topping out up here. This is monthly resistance to the monthly chart, this area here. And we're fractions short of a 79% retracement. So the trend is down on the monthly. We've been having a corrective rally. Weekly trend, it is actually holding and not moving above that lower top. So that is still down and we're reversing down this week. So maybe we're topping out on the S&P 500. Maybe we're bottoming out on the dollar index. So maybe we're having a turnaround back to the longer term trend that we've been seeing for most of the year. So let's get into, first of all, we'll just start off with the Aussie pairs, I think, tonight. Now, the Aussie yen is, I posted this in the Telegram today. It's barely moving up. It's quite still consolidatory, even though the trend is down on the daily here, lower tops and bottoms. The last 3 trading days, except for today, have been all rejecting up here at 92.14. And you can see we're consolidating. We got a lower top, 2 higher bottoms, so it's a bit mixed. I did put in the Telegram today that we may well see another failure at the 92 level. And we have failed there today at the moment. It hasn't moved too much down from 92, obviously, but what I was looking at earlier in the day was a fib drawn across that range from high to here. Notably, over the last 3 trading days, we've been testing 92.14 intraday. Here, a little bit further up, fraction short yesterday, but we keep moving back below the 92 level in each trading day. So again, we've had a failure at 92. I was looking at 92 up to 92.02, where we got a pivot there and the 79% level, and that is potentially calling the top at the moment. It's very choppy. It hasn't got much direction at the moment. So can it trade down? It is kind of failing at 92. Can it trade down? So if you have already shorted at 92, I don't know if I would be giving that too much room, because it is very choppy here at the moment. So, you know, if it starts to break below 90, that might be a good time to get your trade to break even and just see whether it can move down. Because if it wants to retest 92 again, it could well move above. So, bit of selling pressure at 92 there. Is that going to be where the high of the day is? What I was suggesting was that we might come down to the 91 level to test last week's low, which is day of support. Can we break down? Well, you'll have to decide whether you want to be in that pair, and then it does offer good risk reward to get down to 91 from selling at 92 with a 20-25 pip stop. So you can wait and see if we get another failure at 92, but looking at price action in today's price, there's not a lot of strong direction. So this would probably one of those situations where if I've sold at 92, get the risk out because it doesn't seem to want to move down. And then, you know, if you get a stop out, I'm going to lose anything, you can move on to the next trade. And, you know, this might suddenly drop down 20, 30 pips without coming back. And then you can start to manage your profit on the trade. All right, Aussie dollar. Now, longer term, I'm looking at this range here on the weekly, as this is a 62% retracement area, failure from move down. But whilst the monthly and weekly trends are remaining down, so nothing much is changing from Tuesday, we're still holding this uptrend in terms of another higher bottoms maybe forming here. I did say 68.61, 66.81, 66.71 area there. I did say that could offer support for a move back up. It still doesn't yet want to form like a lower bottom, lower top scenario. So with that in mind, we do have the US news coming out tomorrow. I will be watching, and we could spike up from the US news. We could still be topping out up here. We don't like it above 68. So 67.97 there, daily resistance. I will certainly be watching that level. Anything beyond 6,800 for further failure. I don't feel like this is a buy for me, being that it's in the 62% retracement area, but yes, we could move higher and above this top if we really want to. So you just have to work out where you think the major trend is. Major trends are always from the high time frames, weekly chart, monthly chart, and they're down. But this does not want to give up to the downside yet. So, you know, if you feel it's going up to maybe 69, 68, sorry, 66.81 to 66.71 is where support is. So you could be definitely watching that area for further support. We could come down. There's maybe a little left shoulder inverse head there. We could come down to 66.81 again. Today, hold and move back up. All right, that would be a level to watch, to move up from 66.81. But I will be watching higher up for failure if we can get another rally back up to the higher levels. The 67.97 level, we got last month's high up there too, at 6,800 pretty much. All right, that's what I'm focusing up here. If we can get up there, I may look for an opportunity to trade down if we can see a failure. Euro yen, not a lot's changing. I've been looking at that high there, drawing my fib in, that's last week's high. We're obviously holding underneath this monthly double triple top area here. Well, it's not a monthly double triple top. You have a daily chart double triple top, but that's a monthly top over there. And there's daily resistance at 144.32, and we're clearly holding there at the moment. But the 4-hour trend, though, is up. I've got a sneaky suspicion that the US dollar is going to strengthen. That means the dollar yen is going to move up. So these pairs to the yen could start to break north. All right. Now we are still holding at the 79% level. We haven't tested 144.26 today, so maybe we're going to put in a lower top here to move down. You just have to make a decision where you think the bias is going to be to trade. You know, where do you think the market's moving over the next few trading days? This could still continue its day chart trend down, and we'll keep testing and holding the 79% level. So you just have to work out, do you want to trade at the 79% level, stop above the high, targeting last week's low. That's the pattern that's there. And of course, targeting the last week's low, or you could be trading down towards the 127 extension. So there is a 79% possible failure pattern there. It's just a question of, do you want to trade it? Okay. Euro dollar. Now, there's lots of resistance over here. This fib that I've got drawn in is across the yearly range that we formed this year. So we're a little bit above halfway, moving back up. We're just, as I mentioned on Tuesday, this low here is the opposite to this high here on the dollar index. So we pull back to the same spot, but inverse on the euro dollar. So is this where we're going to top out? We're halfway back up the range for the year. There is a significant area of resistance that we're heading towards. There's monthly resistance over here, 106.35. There's weekly resistance here at 106.15. And there's also day chart resistance. There's a bit of a day chart triple top in here, day chart resistance at 106.01. So 106.100 up to 106.35 is resistance. We haven't been able to get there this week. We're a fraction short, and nothing's much changed since Monday's rejection. We are putting in a bit more of a higher bottom. 0519, if you go to your monthly chart, is a monthly old low. It's this one over here. So we're just holding at this monthly low that we've been underneath. Is that going to hold the market for a movement down? So I'm being very cautious of these pairs to the US dollar at the moment. They're still showing an uptrend. So if I'm going to be a seller, if I think they're topping out, I want to be selling up as high as I can. I'd love to be selling up real close to, if it hits and fails at 10600 after they say the US news tomorrow, we could well see a failure up here. We're probably starting to realize that we're high up on these pairs to the US dollar, but they're simply not breaking their downtrend. So I'm not that keen to be buying at such high levels, but I'd like to see a clear, trend shift. So not seeing it yet. So I'm just being patient. So I am watching up here, 106.01 up to 106.35 for a failure. But whether or not we can get up there, I don't know. So other than that, I'm just waiting for this day chart to turn down and show a clear trend. If we break below this little swing point area here, that's going to start to break the price action down. So that could happen today into tomorrow. And we may well, as we move into next week, start to see a downtrend for me, okay? If I go to my other charts with my MACD on, with the Aussie dollar, just to go back in time, this has crossed down. With the euro dollar, this is trying to cross down maybe. So we may have a topping out phase using that indicator. Edwin, you're seeing a head and shoulder pattern of 15. There's a kind of you could be what you call this a left shoulder head up here. I mean, yep, if you're wanting to have a go at the levels that we're at, it would obviously be nice to be trading maybe up here at the 79% level. All right, which is close to that left side, left shoulder over there from Tuesday. But it's just a little bit choppy at the moment. I would much preferred, see what I'm noticing at the moment, last month's high, which was at 104.96. We've been getting support there all day long. So there's still this underlying bid to the euro dollar at the moment. It's not wanting to really break down. All right. But, if you like that level, you can obviously trade it. At the moment, as we're talking, price is starting to move down from its run up in early London session. So, I mean, this area could be where it's topping out to move down for the day. Of course, we're getting a swing point break and we're getting a trend line break as well. So it may be breaking down, and yes, that could be the high day with the right shoulder forming to that left shoulder over there. It's not what I would call a very perfect head and shoulder pattern, but I see what you're saying. I would just much prefer to be selling up at a high level or have that warm feeling that the day chart trend is breaking down to the downside, which I don't have at the moment. All right, pound yen. Barely doing anything at the moment, just sitting between day support and this weekly, monthly day resistance up here. So I would prefer to be trading up from support, down from resistance, the higher time frame levels. On the 4-hour chart, I did notice before I came on, it is having some struggle at 4-hour resistance area. 4-hour resistance, all right, through there. See all these tops, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's around about 167.31. It doesn't like it above that level. So if you want to engage on that pair today, that would be the level to try to look short on a test of that level, because clearly this pair doesn't like it there. You can see it failing once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times. So that is where the sellers are located. I would much prefer, though, to be trading at the higher time frame level of resistance rather than that area, but that could be where the market wants to hold itself now to trade down. And the 62 level there is, I mean, you might have the thought process that we've moved down, we've run it back up, and we're moving down from this 62% level down to retest support. All right. So you just need to make a decision if you want to trade that pair. For me personally, it just looks a little bit on the day chart like, let me get rid of that 4-hour level and the fib, just sitting in the middle of the range, which I don't like. I'd like to be selling down from the top of the range, buying up from the base. Okay, so, but there is some structure there on the 4-hour that we're failing at, and potentially we could be failing at this top over here. Let's just put that line in. So 167.35, I was just talking about 31, I think. So that's probably where all those tops are getting referenced from, that area there, which that's a weekly top. So now we do have a higher time frame level drawn in. So it makes a little bit more sense why that is really failing there. So, but it is very range bound. And then if it's range bound, you really want to be trading down tightly from resistance or trading up from support on a tight entry if you can trade it there. Okay. So watch that level up there. I don't know whether we can get up there. We failed there yesterday. So it kind of failed down a 50-minute chart 3 times, once there, twice, 3 times. Will it offer you the same thing today? All right. And if you're getting good at putting in your support and resistance, you know, you should have seen that there yesterday, failing there 3 times. That was an obvious failure at resistance to trade down. All right, pound dollar. Now, I put a video out today in our Telegram. On a weekly perspective, is it forming a double top up here? It's very much like the New Zealand dollar look and feel. So we've got weekly and daily resistance here. 122.93 is weekly resistance. 122.76 is daily resistance. Like I've been saying on the Aussie dollar and the euro dollar, the trend isn't breaking down. We still have high tops and bottoms. So I'm cautious, but leading to the idea that we could be fading up there. So what I'm looking for on the 4-hour is, I don't know if this can get up. It seems a bit weak at the moment. I'm looking for left shoulder, head, right shoulder to form up at 122.93, where the 79% fib overlaps with the weekly resistance level. Now, we could spike up there tomorrow on the US news, or maybe not, but that's what I'm watching for. Can we spike up, form the head and shoulders on the 4-hour chart, and then trade down? That trading down over 1 or 2 days would start to form a lower top, starting to confirm that double top. All right, now at the moment, it's obviously not getting up there. And today, we're watching today and what price is doing ahead of tomorrow's news. We may well see price come back up and simply another failure at the 122 level. Okay, it looks like the market's starting to want to fail at 122. It may obviously spike above that level tomorrow when the news comes out, depending on what the news does. But at the moment, we could see another little movement back up. 122 could be resistance for the day for this to move down. New Zealand yen. Now, I've been saying the same area for I don't know how many weeks now. 87.20 up to that top there at 87.44. We traded there yesterday. Very consolidatory. All this resistance up here from this weekly area over here to that daily top there. It's where the market keeps holding at. So if it keeps holding there, that's the level to sell at. All right, so that's the level. Just decide if you want to engage on that pair. From a high time perspective, here's the monthly chart. We are at a 79% level of the bigger range. Is this simply topping out here for a long-term move down? Been very consolidatory over the last 6 to 9 months here. So you need to work out, do you think it's the top area on the higher time frame? If you do, then 67.20 up to, sorry, 87.20 up to 87.44 is the area of resistance where the market is just holding at. All right, New Zealand dollar. All right, so very much like I was just discussing on the pound dollar, We're a fraction short of the weekly top up here, but I will still class that as a double top. And I've been discussing this is a yearly range. We're pretty much filling at 62% level, a few pips short of the 62% level of the yearly range that we've been forming this year. And it's likely to see it looks in the upgoing wedge on the New Zealand yen. Well, I mean, it can break. It can certainly break up through there. It's going to clearly break one way or the other sooner or later. It's very consolidatory. Is it going to break north? It hasn't been able to break north for about 8 to 9 months. So you can just keep monitoring. I mean, I can see we're getting higher bottoms up through here, but it just doesn't want to break through at the moment. All right, New Zealand dollar. We're negative for the week. We're holding at a couple of daily resistance levels here. We filled an imbalance that was in here as well as we moved up. So an imbalance has been filled. We've traced approximately 62% of the whole year's range. Fraction short of weekly resistance. Are we forming a double top there? We've still got high tops and bottoms like I've been saying on the other pairs of the dollar. So just waiting for the day chart trend to break down to show that. Once these, if that's what's happening, if the US dollar has bottomed and these pairs are going to top out, once we start to see a lower top, lower bottom form on these pairs, we might start to see a nice strong sell-off. At the moment, though, we're clearly not quite getting it yet. So, but we are struggling at this resistance level at 63.52. I've been looking at, it's almost the exact same trade on the pound that I'm watching on the New Zealand dollar. Possible left shoulder here, head. Can we come up to 79% level that lines up with that 4-hour top? 64.12 is the number. Can we come up to that level, hold and fail, put in the lower top to move down, form that head and shoulder pattern to start to show that we want to move down. All right. 4-hour trend there is actually fractioning up. We've got a higher top, higher bottom, but as we get into the 15-minute chart, we are still filling at 63.52. Just moving back below as I'm talking. All right. So I'm actually waiting for the news to come out tomorrow, and then I'm going to check these levels that I'm watching at the moment. The price action that I'm seeing at the moment is rather range bound and choppy, and I'm feeling like price is just waiting for that news event. So price may not get up to the high level that I'm watching, but I would much prefer to be waiting to see if the high level can be met tomorrow. Because trading down these low levels, if I was to sell here and then the news comes out and spikes price up, that's going to go against me. So I want to know what is going to happen from the US dollar news tomorrow. So I'm watching the higher levels. Dollar Canadian, this is very much probably one of the stronger pairs versus the US dollar. So it's the dollar versus the Canadian, but we're obviously here, this is a day chart. We're putting in high tops and bottoms on the day chart, but none of the other pairs versus the US dollar have changed their trend to down, whereas this being inverse, if we were looking at this as the Canadian versus the US dollar, this would be now putting in lower tops and bottoms. All right, but we got the inverse, so it's putting high tops and bottoms. It's a little bit high up at the moment. We're heading up to what is weekly resistance here at the moment, 137.15. So you don't want to be trading into the start of the resistance area. So 137.15 is weekly resistance to the monthly chart. They've got a monthly top at 137.92 and another weekly top or bottom, I should say, but it's a resistance at 138.50. So we're coming into a resistance area where we failed at last time. Are we going to move through here and beyond? So it's not great to be trading into resistance. It would be nice over the next 24 hours to see some form of pullback. 62% level of that range overlaps with 135.02. That is this area of old support and resistance. All right, so that would be a nice area to watch for pullback to. 135.04 to 135.00. That top there is at 134.95. All right, so can we get a pullback to there, 62% level support for the next move up, for the next day chart higher bottom to form in this area to move up? All right, at the moment it's too high up, it's too close to resistance. You know, in terms of the Fib, I'm going to go through the Fibonacci next week in our Wednesday webinar. But drawing the Fib in from the last pullback, we pull back to the 79% level. We're in the profit taking area. We're almost at the 127 extension of the upward move. That's where people take profit and get out of their bought positions. That's not where you open a bought position. So you want to start to monitor for the next pullback. 62 level, 135.04 overlaps with support. That would be the next level of watch for pullback to, if you wanted to look to be a buyer to keep trading with the trend there on the day chart. All right. All right, getting into dollar yen. So not too much is changing. Weekly look, there's the 79% area of the weekly trend, which is up. Are we bottoming here to move back up? All right, at the moment, we have weekly resistance here at 139.38 that we obviously need to move above. This level's daily resistance through here. Now we are holding there. I did discuss earlier in the week in Telegram the option to trade down from that level on a test, which has offered some profit. But I'm not so sure that we can hold here. I think this might be the final bottom. We might put in a higher bottom here to move up and through. To my other charts, just want to have a look at MACD. MACD is suspiciously looking like it wants. It may be at its, maybe at the end of its move down there, and it wants to maybe start to want to cross up. All right, that crossing up, price moving above this resistance level is probably going to start to confirm the bottom here for a movement all the way back up the range. So 4 hour, this 4 hour is still holding to the trend that started to form down here on Monday. There was a 4 hour entry here to get long. Higher top, higher bottom, higher top. This is another higher bottom here. I've got a sneaky suspicion that by the end of the day, when I wake up tomorrow, this is going to be up here. If that's the case, then whilst we've been holding on the Euro yen at resistance and the Aussie yen at resistance, they may well break through their levels. All right, so monitor. If you did trade the Aussie yen down from 92, well, it's already above. That's what I was saying before. Down here was, if you're already short at 92, should have been at break even because it's snapping back above. What's the Euro yen doing? 15-minute chart. Euro yen is maybe wanting to move above 144 here today, because this dollar yen on the 4 hour chart is looking like it's putting in another bottom here that's higher. And if that comes up and through there, those two pairs are going to follow. Through the trading day, that 137.49 daily resistance level could still hold, and we could still fail again and move back down. But that 4 hour look, it's just got this sneaky high tops and bottoms forming. It's slightly sideways, slightly holding the uptrend, which can often be the telltale sign that it's just getting ready to break. All right. So again, and Slava, you were saying about the New Zealand yen. If this breaks strongly north, yes, the New Zealand yen could break above its resistance level that it's been strongly respecting. But this could break strongly north, and the New Zealand dollar, for example, could break strongly south, and then the New Zealand yen can only go up if the dollar yen is moving up more strongly than the New Zealand dollar is moving down strongly. So like you're saying there, Slow, it's a bit lethargic. The market is definitely waiting, I think, for that US news tomorrow. But this does have a slight lean to the upside here at the moment. I know you liked There's a bit of a channel forming here. All right. If there's a slight channel that might break out. All right, let's have a look at gold. So the weekly chart, we've come up to test 118.07. Are we forming a double top there? Like exactly like we're seeing on the pound dollar, New Zealand dollar. We're negative for the week. We're moving back below this level of weekly resistance at 1786. We've been filling at 1800 this week. And see how this, where we're holding, lines up with that area there. So it's not at a fib level that I trade at. 62.79 is a fib level that I trade at. But we are holding at resistance there. So got a sneaky suspicion that we might be putting in a lower top there on the day chart. But that 4-hour trend is still up. It's just holding at that level of resistance, and that level of resistance is last month's high as well. So what we've done is we have moved above last month's high. Last month's high at the moment is holding gold. Have we false broken last month's high at the moment for a move back down for the rest of the month? All right, if you trade gold, you need to start to work out, do you think it's failing here? Kind of looks like it on the 15-minute chart. We've broken this little support. See how it dropped? That little 15-minute support's become resistance, and now the market's asking itself, is it going to break through this area of support? If it breaks through that area of support, we're probably coming down into this region today. All right, so it's looking a bit toppy there on gold. Slav, are you trading gold? Are you trade gold? Not at the moment. Yeah. All these instruments, where it's a pair to the US dollar, gold, it's all going to be dictated by what we're seeing here on the dollar index. You know, if by the end of the week, depending what the US dollar news does tomorrow, you know, coming into next week, if we get, you know, finished with a reversal candle like I'm seeing right now on the weekly, this hasn't finished, so I don't know what it'll be looking like that by the end of the week. But if we finish with a very strong, nice weekly reversal candle on the dollar index, we're probably going to see pairs to the US dollar move down next week. We're going to probably see gold move down next week. Okay, going to see the dollar yen move up, and then if the dollar yen really catches on fire, we may see the other yen pairs move up. All right, I know we've been selling off on the dollar, so the dollar yen's had a very healthy sell-off. Don't forget, with all these yen pairs, there is the carry trade. Interest rate on the yen side is next to nothing. So all these other currencies that have interest, traders like to borrow yen at no interest. And then they sell the yen and they buy the other side of the currency for the interest as well, get the carry trade. So all these pairs to the yen have the carry. And Slav's telling me that holding one full lot of the euro dollar pays $15 to hold overnight. So you're saying, what if you short the euro dollar? Yeah, because the US dollar's got the highest interest rate. Yeah, so you know, $15 overnight for one lot. You know, if you short 10 lots, that's $150 a day you're making, isn't it? Just on interest. Let's say you were short 100 lots. You're making $1,500 a day on interest. You know, So that's the carry. So, you know, but then if you're trading the yen pairs, you obviously need to be long. So we do bottom out. In all probability, you're going to, if you went long the euro yen, I was thinking which has got the highest, maybe the New Zealand yen. It's got the highest carry versus the yen pairs. Would be the dollar yen or the New Zealand yen in any event. All right, so we're definitely focusing on, can that dollar index put a bottom in? If it can, you know, we may well be trading up through the course of December into January up to the high. You know, as we get into January, we could be coming up to test the high of this year. And you tell me the euro yen pays 20 bucks. Okay. All right. So just as a review, if you're just coming in late, market's a little bit sluggish. It's really waiting for the US news tomorrow, 11:30 p.m. my time, Queensland, for the core PPI and PPI data. All right. Not to say that the market can't move before then, but doesn't seemingly want to break too much into a trend either way at the moment. Just, you know, pairs to the US dollar are holding their trends just to the upside, just. But there are, you know, pairs that I'm definitely watching. Pound dollar, then it doesn't matter to me whether I trade the pound dollar this week or next week. I'm focusing on, you know, what I'm focusing on at the moment on the pound dollar. There's a range for the year. We're a bit short of the 62% retracement of the range of the year, but we're at a very significant weekly top here. It's August top. We could be forming a double top here. So I'm really getting set to try to take a long-term position, just in case this is where we're topping out for the next major move down. Same on the New Zealand dollar. You know, is this double top going to hold for a lovely move down? All right, so those two pairs I'm definitely focusing on. It doesn't matter to me whether I trade them this week or next week. Obviously, I want to get a nice entry, not too much risk, hopefully, and then try and hold it for a long-term move down if it starts to break down. All right, now the US dollar news may start to break it down. The US dollar news may mean that price breaks above these tops, and then we don't have any double tops to try to trade. But we could be at a point in time where we might get a significant change, because that dollar index, whilst ever that dollar index does not, and it's turning up here on the MACD on the dollar index on the day chart, whilst ever we hold on the monthly chart here above this broken double top, there is every chance that's going to put in a significant bottom there to move up to test the high of this year. All right, so that's of significance. The pound dollar and the New Zealand dollar are at significant levels at the moment. And as I was saying before, the euro dollar, it's at the significant monthly low here is the same significant monthly high on the dollar index. So all these pairs that I'm talking about are at a significant level at the moment where they could falter and turn around. So it is the time to get busy, maybe on one or two of them, to take a position of play for the longer term if we start to break down. And as you look through the year, there may be like 4 or 5 times where you get significant turning points on a currency pair where you want to get in for a long-term move. So this may be one of those times in the year. All right, so these times in the year, they don't happen every week or every day, but they come around through the year, but they don't happen every month. All right, especially, you know, if this is the top here, maybe for the euro dollar to move down to test the yearly low, there's almost 1,000 pips to go to test the yearly low. So of course, this is where, if we start to see a downtrend form, where you want to maybe start to get set to go. On that MACD there's a little bit of divergence showing on the euro dollar. So there's definitely a story for a topping out process and the euro and for the dollar index to move up. We'll just have to wait and see what the US news brings tomorrow evening. All right, so I might wrap it up there for the week. Any final questions before I leave you? All right, next week, Tuesday, we've got market analysis coming up. Wednesday next week, I'm going to go through Fibonacci. Next Thursday, more live market analysis. So let's see what comes around tomorrow from the US news. Does the market top out? All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Stay safe wherever you are. If you live near me on the Gold Coast, it's red hot at the moment. So I don't know what the weather's like where you are, but it's been red hot today. Might find myself down by the beach on the weekend. All right, everybody, thanks very much. Have a great weekend.